Okay, hello there. We are going to start now. Hello and welcome to our live show, RevRapper's live show. Let me ensure that the sound is okay. I think it should be okay. Now I want to maybe background music. Yes. I'm going to try to play the small music in the background. Something like this. This is still the Facebook music, yes. Okay, so hello and welcome to our live show. This is the last live show of this year, right?
Yes. For us,
for us,
yes.
You know, here in China,
yes.
The year is about to end, and also it's the last episode of our season. So, as you know, in the last episode of every season, let me adjust the music. In the last episode of each season, we select like a different topic, right? Yes. We have like an open topic.
Yes.
And today we are going to talk about something we think you will find interesting. Is how to use the M600 command to perform filament change and print with different colors.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and Jay will show you some models, and I think he is proud of it now.
Yes, we will show you that well. Yeah. I think maybe we didn't introduce to ourselves today. Yes. I am Jay from the RevRapper technical department, and my colleague Echo from RevRapper e-commerce department, right?
Yes.
And before we start, Echo is going to do a brief introduction about our company.
Yes, our company was named RevRapper. It was founded in 2012 because at that time the 3D printer was starting to be popular at that time. So we want to produce the high quality filaments for them. Our name RevRapper was founded came from the RevRap project. It is a movement aiming to create the open resource printers. It's you want to create the open resource printer for the family. You know, if every family could have multiple printers, they can print some tools and also save some money and reduce the pollution of the environment. At the beginning, we only have the plateau filaments like PLA, ABS, and PTG, but now we only have the resins like many resins, just like standard resins and ABS line resins and flexible resins. And maybe we have
a lot of resins we have.
Yes, also the filaments.
Maybe we have some resins that are like the domestic ones, like ABS like standard water washable, but also we have another like resin series that is for industrial purposes, and some like high temperature resin, right?
Yeah.
Some ultra transparency resin. But those resins only have, well, are more useful maybe for some technical applications, something like that. I'm going to heat up the 3D printer because my idea is, I cannot see, Pensuei. This is Pensuei, yes. You know, this 3D printer is in Chinese. Yes, something.
Enough.
Papa. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to show you how to use how to perform the filament change to be able to print things like maybe this.
Like this. No.
We can show you in this small camera, you know. So the purpose, the objective of today's episode is to show you like a reliable way to do the filament change. But you know, because we want to actually do it here in our live show, I'm going to first like do all the procedure fast to start the print, and then we will go like more in deep on how to do this. Okay, so maybe let me show you, because okay, let me go here and open the Cura. What is this? Oh no, the screen one. Yes. So we have here our Cura, and we would load something suitable for filament change, like for example this model. You see, this model is suitable for filament change because it has something like protruding, right, or embossed here. So this kind of model is very suitable. And in the slicing setting, during the slicing, we don't need to do nothing special. We can just, we're going to put here the 0.2, maybe top layers. What is this? How can I maybe discard changes? I'm going to use the draft standard settings. Okay. Printing temperature, I don't really care about that. Printing speed, this I don't want to. Okay, and I'm going to slice. What does the printer say? What does the printer say?
What does the printer? Well, maybe just the setting of the temperature.
Okay, this model is going to take only 7 minutes. So maybe you can load this filament first.
Okay.
Yeah. So the idea of the changing of the filament change is that we need to identify which height in which layer we want to perform the layer change. So for a model like this one in the picture, you see, what we want is that this part is in the first color, and the character, the region of the model that is protruding or is like embossed is in different color. So for example, here in the Cura we can see that the filament change is in the 10th layer the is where we want to do the filament change. Okay. So what we are going to do, we know this is the layer number 10. We are going to save the Gcode. We are going to save the Gcode here. And the way I do this, because I think is the most reliable one, later we will discuss other ways to do, but what I do is open the Gcode file using some editor, like the Notepad, for example. And here we need to find the layer, we need to find the 10th layer. The thing is, normally, okay, the Cura, you can see, introduces in the Gcode something like this, some tag that is telling us where the layer change is done. So we can just look in the file for the layer 10 or 11 maybe. Oh. Wow. Down. Okay. So here we can go and we already identified where the layer, when the layer 11 starts. So we go here and we write M600. Okay. We introduce here the M600 Gcode and we save. And now we are going to put this Gcode file in our 3D printer. Okay. Go here. A lot of things. Layer M6. I'm going to do like this. And please. So probably this printer now is already leveled and ready to start printing. So yes, just init the card. And now you can go.
Which one?
It's called M600. The program is called M600 something. Layer change. Is this one? Foo? Right? Okay, so now the printer will start doing its job, and we can go back here and we can talk about today's topic. So yes, the filament change. This is a way to use like the standard printer, the simple ones, the printer with only one extruder, and it kind of expands the possibilities of what we can do with only one printer, right? Because as you know, these kind of printers only have one extruder, and normally we can only use one color, right? One color or one material. In contrast, as for example Sebastian mentioned, there are other printers that maybe they use two different extruders with two nozzles, or they have different system to print with several colors at the same time. Okay, let's cross our fingers. It's not extruding. Maybe you need to restart the program again. because it's not sticking. Okay, sorry about that. You probably know these machines sometimes are a little tricky. Okay, in a second I'm going to restart this print job like this. And the thing is, this machine yesterday had some problem. This one is okay, you think?
Yes.
Okay. So, with this technique, we can use the printer with only one extruder to print objects with several colors, but with some limitation, okay? Because basically what we are going to do is, in printing time, we are going to change the filament to a different color. That means that we cannot maybe we can only apply different colors in different regions of the Z axis of the model, right? So not every maybe we need to put some glue here, right? Okay. You can go to find our 3D lag.
Okay.
Okay. You can go to find our 3D lag. And oh, sorry about that, my friends. Also, we need to maybe, I don't know if I set up the temperature for the level bed. For the bed. Give me a second. Okay. Yes, I think some temperature will be good. Oh, okay. So yes, we can use different colors for different parts of the Z-axis. Let me show you here in my internet, in my browser, what kind of models or what kind of things we can do with this technique. Like, for example, you see, we can apply different colors like in this picture. Okay, so at some point the color of the filament changes, and yes, also something like this. You can see this model is meant to be printed with two colors, but apply it like in three different regions of the model. So you can see in this picture, maybe the upper part and the bottom part is printed with one color, and the central section is meant to be printed with a different color, right? And we will get this kind of result. Also, okay, but I think the most useful application is when we print something like this thing you have here in the picture. It's something that is going to have some texture. So we can print the base using one color, and when we change the filament color, maybe the upper layers will make some contrast. And okay, we're going to use this product that I can recommend, and this product is going to, when something goes wrong, just apply some 3D lac, right? It's the way to go.
Give me paper. I want to clean the nozzle.
You want to clean the nozzle?
Yes, I think it's dirty.
Yes, and I'm going to go here because yes, this is the maybe. Well, we are trying to print the character foo, right? That what's the meaning of foo?
It means a lot.
It means lucky, right? We are not being very lucky with this character.
Not only lucky, but also happiness reach a lot of good things.
Yes, we are not very happy right now, right? This printer is not, maybe, I don't know. Let's see. These printers, I think that's something that the classic 2D printer and the 3D printer has in common, right? That maybe they tend to fail in the worst moment.
Okay.
There are a lot of jokes about the printers, like the classic printers. Maybe they will always fail when you need to print the document for your class. It's very, you are already arriving late to your class and you need to print something, and then the printer doesn't want to print. Also, the thing is, normally we don't use Cura. It's okay. Normally we don't really use Cura here. We use more like the Simplify. So maybe okay, give a second. Well, maybe the first layer is going to be not ideal, but as long as the part remains, stuck there, for me it's okay. Okay. I hope the character foo bring us, luck in this endeavor.
Yes, it's working now.
It's working now, good. Okay, so yes, something like the thing you have in this picture, and this is the same that we have here. So we designed this. This is Alien, right? This is something that is very typical for the Chinese New Year, because everybody will place these things, but handwritten, right, in the doors. And in this case,
but it's a couple, but you only has one now.
Yes, the idea is that you have two, so you put one on each side of the door, right?
Yes.
And the meaning is I don't know, something about a bird, right?
No. Of course, it's always say something about the spring.
It's about the springs.
Yes.
But well, the important thing, the thing that matters to our audience is that you see how we printed using two different colors. Okay.
Even this one, I think you print with 3 colors.
Yes, and in fact, we can use the same technique to print not only in 2 colors, but like in this case, we can print in 3 colors or yes, arbitrary number of colors. I mean, we can do all the color changes we want. In this case, we use 3 colors to simulate like the background. Another possibility of the color change is do something like, let me show you, like this thing, you know. So in this case, we are not using the filament change to increase the contrast of maybe the some letters against the background, but to print a model with several colors. But you can see all the filament. I mean, we can only change along the Z axis. But this is nice, right? For example, for the bases, I think the final result can be nice. And here we have some other examples. You know, no need to. I mean, don't confuse this with the rainbow filaments. With the rainbow filaments, that, for example, I don't know if we have here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's finished.
So you see, maybe use this thing. Now, our printer, it didn't finish printing, right? It just, reaches the section of the Gcode where the M600 Gcode is introduced. So now the printer stopped, and here is showing, a message to insert filament and press the button to continue. So at this point, the printer is going to remain. Let me show you. The printer is not going to cool down the. It's not going to cool down the heated bed, right? Because maybe if the heated bed cools down, the part would detach. We can see that now, the temperature of the nozzle is 170, and the printer is telling us press a button to hit the nozzle. So we will press here, and the nozzle is going to heat up, hot end, and we can do the filament change.
So we are going to change another filament.
We are going to change from this red filament, we are going to change to the silver filament. Okay. So now, in this extruder, I can maybe remove this thing. Wait. Because, in my experience, it's better to push some filament and then remove the filament. That can. Okay. Now Echo is going to remove this spool, and we are going to put this new spool. Oh. And you see the display is telling us insert filament and press a button to continue. Okay. Cut the filament. Introduce the filament here. And when we press the button, you see the filament, the 3D printer is going to extrude some filament to ensure that the new filament is ready to be printed. You know, now we can see the printer is feeding the filament, and maybe the filament is coming out the nozzle. So at some point you will see the printer will ask us if we want to resume the print after extruding maybe for 30 seconds. Okay, now resume print, okay? And the printer automatically goes, you know, it resumes the print job, but with the new color. Now maybe we cannot see, so we are just going to wait a little, but you will see. Okay, so using this technique, yes, we can do this kind of very fast. And well, maybe this one is not the best part with print, but you can see how you know, the upper part of the model now is using a different color, right? And well, we can wait and we can remove the part. Let me go here. Oh yes, we were showing that. In fact, I mean, when we know how to do the filament change, we can use it as we want. Okay, so let's go and show our friends how this works. So the first thing we need to do is to find, yes, as we said, something suitable for the layer change. This okay, this is good, I think, but maybe it's not very big, so maybe I will go with something bigger. For example, I think, you know, we can show how to do the filament change with this model that you can see. This model is meant to do 2 filament changes because it has like three different levels, or 3 different areas along the Z axis that can be printed with different color. You know, this one you have here in the slicer is this part I have here printed. This part I have here. So you can see the 3 colors are the same than the ones in the Cura. So we can slice this with the standard settings that I mean, in the slicer we don't need to do nothing special, right? Because the M600 command we are going to introduce manually in the Gcode by editing the Gcode file. So in the slicer, in theory, you don't need to do nothing special, but well, I don't know if Cura allows for like different settings to different, you know, to apply different settings to the different regions of the model, but some slicers allow you to maybe say that the first layers are printed with some settings and the upper layers with different settings. So you can play with that, because sometimes maybe for something like this, maybe you don't need a lot of detail in the first layers, but in the last layers you want more detail. Okay, but it's not important. So for example, if I think now we are using very standard settings, right? So we can just slice this.
So just like it's the normal.
Yes, and the important thing is we need to take a look after slicing the model. We need to use the Gcode, you know, the print job visualization tool. That is this thing, because we need to study where we want to do the layer change. So in this case, well, this is Cura. Cura is going to show us here the number of the layer. And well, you can see the idea is that, you know, the body of the model is printed with one color. So for example, you can see this is the last solid layer of the the foundation of the model, the base, right? And then we have 1, 2, 3 layers that are going to be in different color, and then, you know, the rest of the layers in the third color, right? I don't know. The idea is that you need to find like the angle that allows you to see clearly where the filament, you know, the filament needs to be changed. So in this case, for example, you can see the 36 layer is the last layer of for the first color. The second color is going to go from the layer 37 to the layer 39, and 39 and above is the third color, right?
Yes.
So maybe we can open the notepad here and we can take note of that. So maybe 37 and 40, you know, if we are not sure, because sometimes, you know, sometimes we are like this and it's like, oh, but the layer is changing in the 37 or in the 36, so you can just go with the, you know, add one layer and the result is going to be the same, but this way you ensure that you are not going to maybe, you know, take this wrong and do the filament change one layer before you want. So you see in our notepad we note here 37 and 40 because I think it's like very clear that this, you know, this layer is going to be the new one, and the 40 you can see. Okay, so now we are going to save our Gcode file. We can save to disk and we can put in a place that we know where is it, because we need to edit it. Okay, and what we want to do now is to open the Gcode file and introduce the M600 command. Okay, what is this thing? Okay, this is the file that we just sliced. So, you know, the Gcode file is basically a list of instructions that we are sending to the printer, right? We normally talk about that in our first episode. You see, this is a Gcode file, and each of these lines is one instruction that we are telling to the printer. So most of these are the movement commands, like G1 and a coordinate in the X axis, in the Y axis, and the extruder. We are telling the printer go to the position 1, 3, 1 of the x-axis and go to the position 4, 6 of the y-axis and extrude this amount of filament. Most of the Gcode files, most of the Gcode contained in our Gcode file are movement Gcodes, right? But you can see how at the beginning of the printing, of the print job, for example, here we have this M Gcode, and this is to set up the temperature. In fact, this M104 is going to set up the temperature of the hot end, in this case, to 200 degrees. You know, I think it's interesting to note that we can, you know, we have the list of all the Gcodes that are implemented in the Marlin, you know, in the Marlin firmware in this website here. So you see this list of instructions are the Gcodes. So if we are curious, for example, we can see all of these G1. What is the G1? We go here and you see, oh, G1 and G0 is linear move. So it's basically move in a straight, like in a straight pattern, you know. And if we go here, we can see like some details of, you know, how the Gcode, this command works, what parameters it uses, some examples, you know. For example, we mentioned this M104. We can go here and we can find, oh, what is the M104? Yes, so you can see it's set the hot end temperature. So what we are going to do is, in this list of instructions, we are going to introduce one special instruction that is called the M600.
M600?
Yes.
What does it mean?
It's just the, you know, they need to, you know, we have a lot of different instructions, so each one needs to have a different name. So the 600.
Filament change.
Yes. If we want to know more about this M600, we can go here, and you can see M600 filament change. And yes, I think you copy this into the in our live show.
Yes.
But initiates the filament change procedure, and what it does is it moves the printhead away and tell the user to insert new filament, and after the filament is loaded, it continues the print. Okay.
I don't know. Does every printer can understand this?
Yes, that's a good question. For this Gcode to work, the printer needs to have, you know, this program needs to be already in the printer's memory. So, for example, most of the printers, like the Ender 3, the Creality ones, the Prusa, most of them already have the M600 Gcode. For example, Creality, they say in all the new printers this Gcode works. If you have like a very old Ender 3, one of the first, maybe in some of them, this Gcode file, this Gcode M600 code is not in the firmware of the machine. In that case, what you can do is update, you know, the firmware of your printer.
Okay.
You know, but in other printers, like for example the Tronxy ones that are a little more exotic, maybe in those printers it doesn't work. So yes, basically, if the M600 Gcode is not already in your printer, there is always the possibility of updating the firmware to put the M600.
Cool.
But I would say maybe 95% of the 3D printers, at least the ones that are based in Marlin, that are most of them will have this Gcode. Okay, so apparently the M600 can be used with some parameters, but we are going to use just the simple way. And the simple way is, we go into our Gcode file and we write M600 here. And when the printer reads that line, it's going to do the filament change. So the thing is, we need to find where to place this, right?
Yes, wait, please.
Give me a second. Where to place? Where to place? Well, we know because Cura told us that we want to do them, in the layer 37 and in the layer 40. So this depends on the. I mean, you can identify the position by the layer number or by the height, of the Z axis. In simplify, what I do is to find, because the printer only changes the Z axis one time for each layer.
Yes.
So if we go here in this file and we look for the Z, you will see, for example, here the first apparition of the Z is telling the printer to move Z-axis to 0.7. The next one is 0.9. This, because we are printing at 0.2 layer height, this makes sense, right? So every, each layer, what it's doing is increase the height of the Z-axis 0.2 millimeters. So if we know the height, we can identify the position of the, where to introduce the M600 Gcode. We can identify, just look for the set in the file and identify. But normally the slicers are going to introduce some comments in the Gcode to give some information to the user. For example, you can see all the lines that starts with the semicolon. These are not Gcodes. These are not for the printer. This is for the user. For example, you see here is telling you, okay, I estimate that this layer needs, I think this is in milliseconds probably. Okay, and this is the starts the layer the layer 18. So because Cura is going to tell us here like layer 18, layer, and of course the layer, this comment about the layer is always going to be close to the position where to the instruction where the printer increases the Z-axis. So yes, in the case of Cura, we are going to use the layer count to find where do we want to introduce the M600. So what I do is, well, the search option in any text file. We go to edit and we go to find this option. Control F normally. So here, if I copy this and here I
37.
Yes, we mentioned that we want this in the 37 layer, right? So we can put here 37 and
yes,
it directly take us to this place.
What should we do next?
So now the thing about the Cura is that I think maybe, I don't know if this is introduced. I mean, I don't know if the layer 37 is the Gcode before this tag or after this tag. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't really care because it's going to be similar. I think maybe we need to to do some test. Normally we use the simplify in here. So in simplify I know how the simplify writes the Gcode. I'm not sure if Cura, if I should place this before or after. So if we are going to use Cura to do this, maybe we need to do some tests before. Okay. But yes, basically, let's assume that the layer 37 comes after Cura places this tag. So the idea is, we go here, for example, and yes, just write M600, right?
Okay. Just like M600.
Yes, like M600. Ideally, I think it's better to find, where the set axis is increasing. Okay, so maybe what we can do is find set, in the Gcode. Let's find up. So you can see the Gcode is increased. The set axis is increased here, and here comes the tag. So maybe I can do the layer change, the M600, just after the set axis is increased. Okay, like here. Just like that. So when the printer is reading all these instructions, when it reaches, this, when it reaches here, it's going to read the M600 and it's going to do the, the filament change routine. It's going to move away the extruder and it's going to change, ask us to change the filament.
It's really easy.
It's easy. I think it's easy, and well, we want to do 2 filament changes in this program. So
we add another. Yeah.
So let's do the same. Let's find this 40, the layer number 40. 37. Oh no. Down. We need to find down. This is, wow. 38, 39, okay, layer 40. So let's introduce here another M600.
Okay.
Now we can save this and yes, just place our Gcode file in our 3D printer and it will work. For example, now we printed this small, the foo. Okay, so foo,
yes.
The happiness and the lucky, right?
And the rich.
The rich, okay. All the good things,
Yeah,
a lot of good things come with the word foo. Yes. So let's talk a little about what happens with the when the M600 Gcode is read by the printer. Because the thing is, maybe we start the print job now and we go home, right?
Yes.
And maybe the printer at 2 a.m. in the night it reaches the M600 Gcode, right? So what the printer does is first just move the extruder away, so the leaking filament, the filament that when the printer is not working, some filament still is coming out the nozzle, right? So that filament is not going to ruin the part. And then normally the printer is going to, well, the printer maybe waits for 30 seconds. So if you don't change the filament in the first 30 seconds, automatically the hot end temperature, I mean the printer is going to switch off the hot end, you know, it's going to set the temperature to 0, right?
Okay.
Because, you know, maybe you don't do the change of filament in the next hour or in the next 5 hours. Maybe you do the change of filament tomorrow in the morning when you arrive the office, right?
Okay.
But the printer normally only switches off the hot end. It doesn't switch off the heated bed, because if the heated bed is switched off and it's set to 0 degrees, maybe the parts will warp or will detach. So yes, normally if we are not just in front of the printer when the M600 Gcode is read, when we arrive, we will find that the hot end is cool, you know, is at 0 degrees or at room temperature.
So we need to eject that again.
Yes. So the machine tells us here in the screen, press a button to heat up the nozzle. So we just, you know, press the button, it starts heating up the nozzle, and yes, that is when we can change the filament, push the net one, and when we introduce the new filament, we can click again and the printer is going to extrude. It's going maybe extrude for 30 seconds to ensure that the new filament, you know, that the old filament, all the color went away and the new filament is just ready to be printed. And yes, after those 30 seconds, it will tell us, do you want to resume the print now or do you want to extrude another, you know, 30 seconds of filament. So just like that, when we know that the new filament is loaded and is coming out the nozzle like smoothly, we click in resume the print and the printer will go here and restart the job.
Okay.
And yes, it works very well, I think. And we can use this technique to print maybe things with different colors, and also sometimes we can use to print like with different materials.
Different materials.
For example, if we want something like maybe we want something that is the PLA, but in the tip is made from TPU, you know.
Okay.
Because maybe this is something you are going to put this in your in the leg of the table, you know. So you want that the part that is in contact with the floor is TPU, but the rest is PLA. So you can use the filament change, and instead changing the color, you change from one material to another.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah.
Sometimes, depending, especially if you are printing, if you are mixing different filament from different supplier, you need to take in account that maybe you need to increase the temperature when you do the filament change, because maybe the second filament requires higher temperature than the first one, something like that. So if you can, my recommendation is that when you do the filament change, you increase the temperature maybe 10 degrees, because you want that those two filaments become well stick together. You know?
Oh, okay.
That is something that you can do. I mean, you can set up automatically too, right? Because in theory, for example, we learn how to add to here the M600, right? we learn how to add the M600. So at the same time that we add the M600, what we can do is to add maybe, we know M109, we can double confirm. Oh, sorry. Let me go back here. We know that the M109 is going to set up the temperature. I know, but this is wait for temperature for hot and temperature. So we want to use the N104, this Gcode, like this one. So what we can do is, just after doing the filament change, we can change the temperature and tell the printer, okay, increase the temperature to 100, maybe 10 degrees. And maybe in the next layer, and here we can go back to the original temperature. So if we do like this, what is going to happen is, we change the filament, and that layer we are doing at 10 degrees more, and that is going to improve the bonding.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Yes. So also, the Cura has. We don't need to do like this, like editing the Gcode. The Cura has some option. I don't know. Well, I think it has some plugin. Maybe our friends can let us know in the comments. Probably they know better than us. The thing is, here we are like old school, So we don't really like the plugins, nothing like that. We are more like the classic way to do things. But let me find Cura. How to M600. Yes. Cura has a plugin. Cura has a plugin? I think yes. Highly depends. Let me find, because where can I find the extensions? Maybe it's here. Post-processing. Filament change.
So it's more convenient.
Probably yes, because yes, in the Cura, in fact, this is the first time I use this. But you can see, maybe instead doing like manually. What is the preview slice? Let me see. We said that we want in the 37. So we go post-processing, modify the Gcode, filament change. Here we just set 37, this layer, maybe. And I don't know. I have some options here. I don't know how this works. Initial retraction. Probably, I don't know, maybe Cura is not using the M600 Gcode to perform the filament change. Maybe it uses like a custom Gcode. But the thing is, the method I saw, that is editing the Gcode manually, this can be used for every slicer. And also, I think it helps better to change that set. Yes, we already find there is something. There is a plugin. Probably it's easy to use. The problem I think is a good idea maybe to show how the Gcode, how to do it manually, because yes, we can understand better how the printer is working, and maybe if we want to do something more advanced, yes, if we understand well how the machine works, we can do more things.
Yes.
For example, if we have a problem like someone switches off the printer, or we have some kind of accident, if we know how the Gcode works, we can try to recover the printer, something like that. It's not easy, but we have a chance. If we are always using the software, the slicer, and we don't know what is really happening, how do you say, behind the scenes, we don't have the chance to do those kind of things. Okay, so that was for today. The M600, this episode about how to do the filament change. I think you already noticed we have this background with this tiger. Why are we using the tiger?
Because next year is the year of tiger.
The next year is the year of tiger. Yes. Let me show you this nice tiger we have here. Yes. So the next week is the Chinese New Year, right?
Yes, and we will have 2 weeks holidays.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe in China we don't have a lot of holiday, but for the Chinese New Year it's very traditional, right?
Yes, very traditional.
And we have a very nice 2 weeks holiday.
Yes.
So everybody can go back to their hometown, right? Visit the family.
And celebrate the Spring Festival together.
In fact, it's like the Christmas, I think, right?
Yes.
So in Christmas also, I think, is tradition. You go back to home, right? So in China, maybe it's even more important than in.
I think it's the most important festival in every year,
Yes, yeah. For Chinese, of course, is the most. But also is remarkable. They say the biggest migration of people. The biggest movement of people happens in the Chinese New Year, because there is a lot of Chinese people, right? And most of them will try to move, especially some people that come from the middle of the country, and they work in some cities, in the big cities.
Yes.
So all that people needs to go back, right, to their hometowns. And yes, it's crazy. Maybe the first days of the Chinese New Year is very crazy. Everybody's moving.
No, maybe 1 week before the New Year, I think.
1 day before New Year, yes. Maybe, yes. All the trains are full of people. It's very, very hard to find the train ticket, something like that.
Yes.
So yes, that will be the next week, and for the next 2 weeks we will not be able to do this live show, but we will be back on February. I think maybe second week of February, something like that.
Yes.
And we will start from our first episode, how to slice for 3D printer. I hope you are with us, and yes, that's all for today, my friends. We are going to cut now. So how do you say? 祝你新年快乐。
新年快乐。
新年快乐。
恭喜发财 ，yes。
恭喜发财。
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 Yes.
That the meaning is like.
How you rich?
I hope you get rich. You become rich this year, right?
Yes.
恭喜发财。
Just like this word, yeah.
But also, not only rich on money, also rich of friends and happiness.
Happiness, yes.
Happiness. That's.
And just have a one family. Okay.
Yes, of course. So yes, happy Chinese New Year, friends, and Yes, see you
Next year.
next year
In Tiger year.
in Tiger year.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.